God damn. Let's get back to work on this guy. Tons and tons of you guys commented that a rotary is what was needed to get out these scratches, and I have one. Forgot I had this thing from when I was polishing up the 24-inch American Forces that I had on my Harley F350 back in the day. I bought the whole aluminum polishing kit, but it came with this, I think this is a 7 or 8-inch backing plate. I've had these wool pads for a while. I think I've used them on a DA before, but never on the rotary. I've never touched paint with a rotary, so I'm shaking in my boots over here, fellas. But I think we will be able to handle it. This should be a little bit more powerful of a tool to hopefully get out some of these scratches. Also, this little box right here, $70 for 15 pads, but these are basically a 3M equivalent of these things. It's a 3000 grit 3M pad. This was another thing a lot of people recommended. It feels somewhat significantly different from the Harbor Freight stuff. So if, you know, this is going to get us a quality finish and these pads will last a little while, I guess it's worth it. You can't put a price on the frustration that I experienced last time. So if we can avoid that with some of this stuff, I'll be good. Also got 3 different pads. I think this is basically a cut, polish, and finish pad. I'll probably mostly just be using the cut pad. I just wanted to make sure I had a foam one too. And then a lot of you guys also recommended this 3M Perfect It compound. So I think hopefully between probably these 2 or these 3 things here or these 3 things here, we should be able to get out a lot of this stuff and maybe even skip some sanding steps like 2500 grit and 3000 grit altogether, because there's a lot of cutting power here. But just in case, I also got this sponge pad. This is a lot softer than my regular sanding pads that I have, just in case we got to go around any corners. Just to be a good tool to have regardless. And I've always wanted to experiment with one of these. This is a denim pad that you put on your DA, and apparently it's for removing orange peel. So maybe we can give this a try on the bedside back here before we touch any sandpaper and see if it puts a dent in a little bit of the orange peel there. Goal right now is to get the hood at the very least corrected, and same as, you know, basically the last video started. I think I'm going to try and find a recipe that works with my new stuff here. Start slow with this rotary since I've never used one, and see if we can find something that is going to get out these scratches and leave us a beautiful Cervini cowl hood here. So let's get to work. Well, I know it still looks like hell, but we made some progress. You guys were right, the Rotary has got some serious firepower behind it. I don't know why I was scared of it all these years. Well, I do, because you can definitely do some damage, but it was the right tool for the job here. More specifically, this wool pad that I bought years ago was the key to a lot of this. This thing has enough power to get out what I think you guys were also right about, which was like heavy, we call them like the little figure 8 things, which I think was from my Velcro backed pad on my DA. If you run this thing for long enough with the right amount of compound, make enough passes, you can literally get out like pretty deep scratches. Now the risk there, of course, is that you're removing clear coat by doing that. So this is why you need to be careful with rotaries. A DA is just that, dual action. It's moving. See how this is moving not only in a circle, but in a like kind of an eccentric circle. Might be kind of hard to see on camera, but it kind of wobbles around. A rotary is just that, one axis. What that means is it's going to cut a lot faster in that exact same spot, but that also means just that. It's going to cut a lot faster, which is why you need to be careful on edges. And if you're not sure about the depth or the quality and or quantity of clear coat on your car. The DA is still going to always be my personal go-to. If you've got a car you're looking to do a paint correction on, the DA is a solid option. It's way safer. It takes a little bit more time, but I mean the finished result, if you're just looking to get out some swirls and scratches and years of oxidation or incorrect car washes or all of that stuff, the DA is going to take care of it. But in a case like this where you got some wet sanding marks and some stuff that the DA is just struggling to get out, I guess the Rotary is the move. Came up here with the foam pad. This was the worst area, if you guys remember. It had all those like figure 8 marks, and they are gone. Had to use the wool pad. I tried with the foam pad first. Didn't quite have enough power, but that's the hood. I know there's still a bunch of dust on it, but the hood is basically ready for the polishing stage now. I might hit it with the DA in a cut real quick just to remove any extra haze, but that might be excessive. I might be able to go right to the polish stage from here, remove any of that hazing left from the cut stage, and we'll be good. The fender as well. The fender came out really, really good. Just went right to the wool pad on this, then followed up with the foam pad on the Rotary, and then followed that up with the DA. So this is ready for polishing. Again, covered in dust because I moved up to the hood, but it is defect free. No more, massive sanding marks and dull spots and all that. Just a little bit of haze left from the cut phase. And here's what's really important is that's factory paint. There's new paint. Basically matched the factory orange peel. If we want to really nitpick this, there's still a tiny bit of orange peel in this fender, but I'd say it's as good, if not slightly better, than the factory orange peel. And that's the goal. I want it to look like this is all factory paint, even though a lot of it is not, obviously. I just want it to look as good or slightly better than factory. So this is basically ready for polishing. The rest of the truck is done in the last video. The only thing that's left is this bedside. And I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet. I think I'm gonna do a test spot. I don't know if I'm gonna start with those new 3M 3000 discs, see if we can get out some of this orange peel, if I try that denim pad, or if I just say, now that I have the power to get out the wet sanding marks, maybe I just wet sand this whole thing, just as I normally would. I know the Rotary is gonna get out basically whatever I put in, so let's get right back to it. Hopefully knock out the rest of the cut phase on this, and then the polishing phase is gonna be a breeze. It always is. Might even pull this thing outside completely, rinse it real quick, get all of this junk off, but let's knock that out first. All right, this is how you wet sand, because we're in daddy daycare. Boop. Hey, you paying attention? All right, once again, have made a mess, just adding to the mess that I already have here. But I think I have something that works. I'm not psyched about how much work it's gonna take, but I think it's gonna get us a really nice finish and utilize all the tools that I have here. So I wet sanded this whole area with 2000, just started right at 2000, didn't even really wanna mess with 1500 grit. At that point, I wanted to see what the best next step would be, so I put this divider down. Over here, I just went right to the wool pad on the Rotary with the 3M compound, and pretty happy with the results. You can just see the hazing that's left from the wool pad, so that's pretty typical. I'm not sure if a polish on a DA would take that out, or if we'd have to go to a cut phase on the DA, or a polishing phase on the Rotary. Point is, this is now defect-free and there's no sanding scratches or anything like that, but there is obviously at least one more step required, possibly two. So potentially 4 steps to get this side perfect. This side is, again, 2000 grit. And then I went and tried the 3M Trizac disc, which felt great. Maybe I just didn't do enough of it. It seemed like it was still removing product. And then I went to just the foam cutting pad with the same 3M cutting compound. And you can see this is kind of where we were at last week with the DA. It looked great when I, squeegeed all the water off. Looked like it was nice and uniform, but hopefully you guys can see that. Come on. There's still sanding scratches in there. So I think that of these two right now, the better option is obviously option A, which is 2000 grit and then right to the wool pad, and then we'll figure out how to polish out just the hazing that's left over. But take a look at the orange peel levels. Basically 0 or better than factory, I would say. Look at this door. It's factory as far as I know. The lighting just doesn't do it, but you're going to have to take my word for it. This is just about as good or better than factory paint would have been on this truck. Over here is where we started. See all that? And look at the lines in the garage. That's all orange peel. Now let's see if I can get a similar comparison over here. Oh yeah. That's what we're after. Just getting rid of that texture. You guys know what orange peel is, but what I'm proving here is that we've accomplished the goal. We've gotten rid of the heavy orange peel. We've gotten rid of whatever that outgassing was on that top layer of the clear coat. So if I can polish this out, this is more than enough that I want for this bedside. So all I need to do now is just replicate this area on the rest of the bedside, which is going to be tricky because this bed has a lot of curves and stuff. Especially up here, you guys can already see, this is the danger of wet sanding. I haven't broke through yet, but I was really light with my soft 3M pad and a very soapy mixture with 2000 grit, just the lightest hand pressure. And you can see, look at this clearly defined line on this body line. This is how you burn through paint right here. So I'm probably going to stay far away from there with this. I'll probably stick to the DA and a foam pad, maybe even my little Roops guy just to polish that out. But got to be very careful on these body lines. Stuff like this, got to stay away from this little edge right there. This edge right here. The rest of this shouldn't be too bad. But lots of curves in this step-side bed. So I think I figured out a plan that worked. I think the only reason I wanted to try the 3M disc was because they cost $70. and I wanted to try them. I bet you they work. I know they're gonna work great. Maybe I'll keep playing with these in the future. But right now there's nothing left to do but get this bedside done. So I'm gonna shut my mouth, get to work, get to wet sanding, get to buffing with the Rotary, and I'll figure out what the final step is, and hopefully then we'll finally be ready to polish and coat this truck. What a process and a learning experience this has been. Just when you think you're an expert paint corrector, you tackle something like this. All right, back to work. Well, yeah, again, a mess, but the bedside is finally looking good. I'll put up a little bit of a before and after as far as orange peel and things like that, but we are looking really nice. Take a step back. I'm happy with that, but it took all night. It's now, I think my watch shuts off at 11. No, the watch is dead. I think it's about 11 o'clock at night. This took literally all night. All the wet sanding. The process I ended up using was obviously wet sanding. Then the wool pad, took multiple passes with the wool pad to remove the 2000 grit sanding marks. Then I went to the red foam pad on the Rotary. That took a couple passes. And then I think I followed up with the foam cutting pad on the DA, the Geon purple foam cutting pad. And I did it in 3 sections. So this from here back, this kind of middle section, and then the back part. So that's like 6 passes in all those sections to get this thing looking like this, and it took all night. There's still a tiny little bit of haze in the paint, which you can probably see in certain lighting, but that's obviously going to come out in the polish phase. But I think, knock on fiberglass or composite, that we are done with wet sanding and cutting. And thank God, because I'm convinced there's something wrong with this clear coat or the way it cured or something, because I have never struggled as much as I have in these past week and a half, almost 2 weeks, doing this paint correction. It's like, no matter what step you do, it's impossible to remove the previous step's scratches. It's like you remove the hardened layer that was, you know, cured, and then you expose a layer below it that wasn't cured or something. It's like it scratches very easily. I don't know. Like I said, there was some weird stuff going on that day that we painted. It was hot. I'm trying to remember. It was almost a year ago. I almost feel like Ben said he was out of the clear that he normally uses. So it was just a lot of things working against me, but I eventually got it. So even though it looks absolutely terrible right now, I think the finish line is in sight. I would like to polish the whole truck and then we'll decontaminate it and ceramic coat it. But honestly, this thing is so messed up at this point. I honestly think I'm gonna back this thing out in the morning, rinse the whole thing down, just get all of this crap off of it so we don't smear it into the paint that we just spent forever getting right. And then we can bring it back in. It can dry all day tomorrow while I'm at work, and then we can get to polishing the whole thing. So I'm gonna go get some shut-eye, shower, not in that order, and catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It is a new day. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks since I started this video, the paint on this truck is as perfect as it's gonna get. And what a disaster, what a journey, what a learning experience it was. But this thing is looking so good. Complete cut, complete polish. The hood, the bedside, and that fender, and a little bit of the rear spoiler was a complete wet sand down to like 1500. And she is much better. I'll put up a little bit of a before and after on the hood here, and then you guys remember what the bedside looked like before. It is basically glass now, and so much better than it was when we first started this process here. Very much, if I walked up on this truck, I would think that this was factory paint. It matches the rest of the, slightly factory orange peel pretty darn well. So we just did all this hard work to get this paint basically perfect. Now we want to seal it all in with a ceramic coat. But before I do that, there's a couple little things I'd like to knock out that have been bothering me for almost a year now. I've got those parts lined up here on the bed. The first one is new Lightning badges. These go on the fenders. This one is from the driver's side. I took this off to, do a better job of paint correction on the fender. They just become faded and the chrome gets pitted, and they just, we can't have that. So I got two new Lightning emblems. The passenger one I put on right after we painted this fender last year because I didn't want to drive around with a hole in the fender for the rest of the summer. So I put one of the new ones on and then took it off again to do the paint correction. But the driver's side one is still in the plastic. So got two brand new Lightning badges here. So we got to put those on the fenders. Got a brand new Ford rear emblem here. You guys remember we replaced the Ford emblem in the front. Because similar to the front, the rear one has this, in my opinion, kind of cheesy Lightning. I thought it was a whole Lightning badge, but it's really just a sticker. But when I peeled it off the front, the whole Ford emblem was like yellowed and faded. So I just got a brand new Ford emblem for the rear tailgate here. And then the final piece is same thing. Again, when we painted the fender, I had to take the antenna all apart, and I went to go put my old antenna back in, and it was like all rotted off in there or something. So not only did the antenna need to be replaced, the base needed to be replaced as well. So I got a new base last summer. I think this was on Amazon, honestly. And then Mike Walls from Walls Ford Parts got me this brand new OEM antenna. Normally I cut them down a little bit so they're a little bit shorter, but I don't know if you can do that with this style. But either way, it'd be nice to have a new antenna, or a antenna on this truck. So before we knock out the ceramic coat, let's knock these things out. We just did all this work to correct the paint on this truck. Now we want to make sure that we seal it in correctly. So we're going to be using Geon products, starting with Prep to wipe the paint down, and then we're going to be using their new Evo Pure Q² ceramic coating. And on the wheels, we're going to go with their Evo rim coating, which is going to provide protection from brake dust and make cleanup a lot easier. Just like all Geon products, it comes with a great set of instructions and even a QR code that you can scan to watch a video on how to apply it, quick application guide, and even some stickers that you can put on the vehicle to let people that might be working on your paint know what kind of coating is on it to make sure that they can care for it properly. All right, let's wipe this thing down with Pure and then slick in that beautiful black Ford paint with some Pure Evo ceramic coating. We'll hit the wheels. This thing will be done. Home stretch, baby. Let's get her done. Application is super easy, just like any ceramic coating. Me personally, I'm going to use two different towels. I'm going to use a combination of the bald wipe and the soft plush wipe. Simply shake it up, and then we're going to want to saturate or prime the included applicator. Make sure we got enough on there to do a good size panel. Once your panel is clean and degreased, you can go on and apply the coating. Just like any other coating, I like to do a basket weave pattern, make sure we get nice even coverage. Go over it a couple of times, and then we're gonna wanna buff it off or level it immediately. As always, two towels. I like to do the first pass with the first towel, get 90% of the coating off, then flip that towel over, get the rest of it off, and then go to the other towel and do the same thing. One side, and then flip it over for the final or fourth pass, and make sure you have everything off, because once that coating hardens, it's not coming off unless you get out the polisher again, which we do not want to do. Easy as that. Now, just do the rest of the truck. In the words of Dominic Toretto, you can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona. Oh, much needed after this project. You guys ready to see this thing? man, 2 weeks, countless hours. I mean, not 2 weeks straight. Obviously, I was working on the Marauder and not fully devoted to this thing, but this took way too long, but it's finally done. Much needed full paint correction on this thing. We would have been done with this thing in a couple of days if it was just a regular paint correction, but the wet sanding fully made this thing into a 2-video job. But man, I think it was worth the effort. This thing is 23 years old now, 75,000 miles, I think, and she is just gleaming. Absolute mirror. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I did ceramic coated everything, all the paint, obviously, taillights, headlights, all this unobtainium trim that goes on the flare side Lightning beds. I put some leather conditioner on my tonneau cover. Everything ceramic coated, glass, all the trim up here, headlights, the grill, both grills, upper and lower, again, hard to find, 01 to 04 Lightning grill. This thing is protected front to back, top to bottom. Use the new Geon tire dressing, which is so good. Like nice, even finish, and their tire applicator is so sick. I wish I had one of these years and years ago. I was kind of trying to figure out how the shape was gonna work, and then I put it on the tire, and it was like, oh, genius. Works so well. Nice, even, clean finish. Should last a long time. Man, this thing looks good. Shoo! I think the Buster would drive this thing. Deliver some parts for Harry, you know, the Racer's Edge. If only it was red. All right, well, another day is pretty much gone. I'm gonna move on to some other stuff. I'm gonna let this ceramic coating cure overnight, and then tomorrow we're gonna back it out, see how it looks in the daylight, and most importantly, drive this thing and enjoy it. Catch you guys then. This right here is the reason you park your vehicle, or a perfect example of when you park your vehicle and look back at it. God damn. Way too many hours later. The longest paint correction of my life, I think. This thing is finally done. Ooh, got a little condensation in this corner marker, as it is cold in the garage and is hot and humid already today. But other than that, this thing is just about perfect. Super happy with how this bedside came out. Gleaming. Shoo! This is one clean 23-year-old F-150, and I'm proud to say it's mine. So to recap, 70%, 65% of the truck was just a simple two-step correction with the Geon cut and then the Geon polish. This fender, the spoiler, the hood, and this entire bedside was multi-step, multi-video wet sand, multiple hits with the Rotary on the wool pad, and then the foam pad, and then the DA, and then the polishing on the DA, and then we sealed it all up with Geon Q2 Evo. I think these stickers that they gave me are so cool. I still need to fill them out, but check that out. I mean, kind of a neat little thing you put right below the VIN sticker there. if I ever do sell this truck, then, you know, people know to be careful with what they use on the paint. Good stuff. But after all that work, I'm itching to drive this thing. It's been stuck in the garage for 2 weeks, so let's go for a rip. It finally happened. We hit 100,000 subscribers. Of course, all thanks to you guys, my subscribers. You guys are the best. Some of you guys have been here since I had 100 subscribers. Some of you are new to the channel. I'm thankful for all of you. When I started this channel back in 2021, I wasn't sure where it would go, but 100,000 subscribers seemed impossible. It seemed like a far-fetched or not realistic goal, but as the subscriber count started creeping up and the channel started gaining traction, I started getting, you know, more positivity towards, hey, maybe this could turn into something big. And now here we are, hit 100,000 subscribers this week, and I'm so excited, so thankful, so grateful for that. It's a lot of work putting this stuff out for you guys, but it's a lot of fun too. And to celebrate that and the growth of the channel and everything else that I have going on, you can see, some of you might have noticed this shirt that I'm wearing. I finally have some merch coming. I got some t-shirts coming. My website is just about done, just figuring out some final logistics. Building a brand here, boys and girls. So there's gonna be some stuff up, I think this week. You guys can get your hands on some premium quality t-shirts with some sick designs that we've been working really, really hard on. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, I will let you guys know when those are live. Coming really soon. You guys are not going to want to miss that. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for all of your comments, your likes, you know, telling your friends about it, sharing my Instagram stories, all that stuff. You guys are the best. None of this would be possible without you. So thank you. Let's go do a burnout or something to celebrate. Why not? A little 40 roll. Slotted rotors grabbing. Woo! And she hooked. That was like 16, 17 pounds of boost. This thing's a ripper. Oh, that is a lot of smoke. Where is he? I wonder if he liked it. Oh, I think we got one more in us. I'm not the first one to do, you know, a couple burnouts here. Oh, but they certainly are the blackest ones. God damn. This truck is so much fun. Absolute skid machine. It's built to do that. This Lightning to me is just about perfect. I finally finished it. This is exactly the way that I would build my own 2nd gen Lightning. It's exactly the way I built this one. It sounds awesome, it looks awesome, it drives awesome, it does killer burnouts. The only thing I've thought I might still do is a couple of speakers, because the 4 factory speakers in this thing are not great. I'm not an audiophile by any sense of the word, but it would be nice to have a little bit better stereo in a cruiser such as this. And the other one is those underhood intercooler and radiator reservoir tanks that we talked about in the engine bay video. I kind of want to powder coat those like a satin black. They're just like a very dingy, polished aluminum right now. Other than that, I don't know if I'd change anything on this truck. It's there, man. It's all there. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Once again, thank you so much for getting me to where I am on the channel. Keep an eye out for merch coming soon. I got this shirt, which has got some stuff on the back, and then I think 3 or 4 others will be on the website this week. I'll have a lot more on that in the next video, which I think is going to be a twin turbo C6 Z06 video. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. One more pull. Woo-hoo-hoo! She wanted to break loose. All right, that's enough.